Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Deeply Rooted Business Podcast. My name's Jess, your operational expert, and I'm here with Rachel, our marketing mastermind. Today, we're going to be talking about a timely and relevant topic: how to avoid burnout in your business and habit and systems that you can implement that allow you to not only thrive in your business, but take a break in your business when necessary. And when I say that this is relevant, this is something that I experienced last week. I was out of commission, suffering from both strep throat and the flu recently, and I literally could not lift my head off the pillow and was so grateful that I had many of these things that we're going to talk about established in my business because it allowed me with a couple of Slack messages to be able to just disconnect from my business and allow my body the space it needed to recover without having it impact my clients' work, without having it have any long-term impacts on my business. And not too long ago, before I implemented these things, like a flu might have knocked out my entire business. So I'm very thankful that I've got these things in my business, and I'm going to make a case today for you to implement these things as well.
I love that. Yeah, Jess messaged me. We were supposed to record last Friday, and I was like, "No, we got things covered. Like, we're totally solid. Like, be a good business owner because that's the habits we were trying to build here." But honestly, so many business owners kind of fall into this trap where burnout it's one of those things that's unavoidable because you don't have these systems set up. You end up working so many hours, and we'll kind of talk through like some of the various types of burnout, but these habits really do lead not just to avoiding burnout, but they lead to like better productivity, to business growth, and really seeing things in a different perspective. Jess and I were on a client call right before this, and I think you said something to the fact like as soon as we're doing, you're like, oh, is this just what like delegation feels like? Is this what outsourcing feels like? This is the reality of having good business habits, which is easier on your nervous system and you can take the pressure off of all of these external factors that might be beating your brain up. So, we're going to be going through some essential systems to help you avoid burnout so you can keep your business thriving. Some of those systems are going to be Jess's absolute favorite, time tracking, my favorite of lead source auditing, and then really kind of going through the various ways of financial worry, mental overwhelm, and all of those different things. So let's get into the episode.
I kind of just want to backtrack a little bit and kind of what inspired these three pillars for me is I came across a statement by the author. Her name is Denny Blake, and she has a book called Free Time, and it's about how to free your time as an entrepreneur. She says business stress is a systems problem. And I got to kind of thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, like business stress is a systems problem. And like, what are the different types of business stress that I see the clients that I work with experience? And they basically come down to these three buckets of financial worry, where you're worried about the money coming in your business. You're either experiencing inconsistent revenue or not enough revenue to cover your expenses. Mental overwhelm, that feeling that you're trying to like keep everything in your brain and you're waking up at night wondering if you sent like that invoice off to a client or if you delivered like that deliverable or scheduled that email. Or energetic burnout, where basically you just feel like you're in reactive mode and you're constantly just firefighting in your business and you're not able to set the goals or complete the projects that you're setting out for yourself at the beginning of the year because you feel like you're just in this constant state of catch up. So those are the three different types of stress, and they all come down to a root cause is that there is an inefficient or inadequate system. So moving into that first system that I talked about of financial worry, really what this comes down to is that you have poor marketing, sales, and delivery systems or poor marketing, sales, and delivery habits, because habits kind of are the same thing as systems if you like think about it. And just like in your daily life, as habits and routines kind of keep you regulated, keep your nervous system regulated, keep your body regulated, keep you calm in life, these systems can keep you calm in business. So going back to one of the ones that Rachel, I'm going to let her talk about it because I'm running out of breath. I think I'm still recovering from the flu.
Well,
So allow me to
you're
take it away
cool though.
with your lead source audits.
Yeah, so this is one of those things that with a lead source audit, it's such a great business practice to just have in place. If you listen to our episodes, you know we just beat this topic to death where lead source audits having visibility on what is actually bringing in things to your business. In my last episode where I talked the solo episode where I talked about the marketing ecosystem, so many business owners spend exorbitant amount of time on platforms that aren't actually generating leads for them. Your time is your money here, right? And like if you are spending X amount of hours trying to make a system work for you when it hasn't actually delivered anything, that can lead to this financial burnout state where you're just putting all of your eggs in one basket and saying, we're doing social because we're doing social. And social actually hasn't proven itself as a profitable lead source for you. When you have these kind of inefficiencies in your marketing and sales, it's really powerful to take a step back and just get visibility on what's working. Because when you are teetering on that edge of burnout and you're kind of in that worry of stress, and Jess and I are both like energetic, spiritual type people, that is not the energy you want to be existing in. You do not want to be existing in a place where you are grasping at anything and everything. And so your time, your energy, that's all very, very precious. So really having that lead source audit is going to give you visibility into what you should be taking your time on instead of kind of like forcing those square pegs into the round holes.
Yeah, and when we're talking about habits, we're talking about, this lead source audit, approaching it from a habit. You're going to want to be looking at this quarterly along with conversion rates as well, because these are going to show you one, your lead source audit is where it's going to show you where to zero in on your time and what's worth making it to your weekly creation cadence, which you should. That's a good marketing habit is having like an established schedule of what you create each week and when you create it, but also monitoring your conversion rates for each point of your customer journey as well, because that's going to show you maybe where you need to go in and optimize. So it's all about both of these things are about making sure that you're using your energy effectively and most efficiently to be able to really grow your business.
Yeah, in those conversion rates too, this is something that I talked about in that marketing ecosystem podcast, the episode where if you have not listened to it, go back and listen to it because it is one of those things that it's so powerful to not waste time on places that the conversions aren't optimized. So really, if you have that financial worry and you're teetering on that edge of burnout, looking at your lowest hanging fruit, which is this isn't converting, how can I make it actually convert? Versus let me start on a new platform. Let me do this. Let me do that. So really honing in on saying, this is my actual conversion rate. It can be better. I don't need to increase the amount of leads. I don't need to do anything else. I just need to focus on this. So a lot of clarity in just a very small action.
So moving on to our second area of business stress is mental overwhelm. So mental overwhelm, as a small business, we can all agree that we have a lot to remember. We have client to-dos, we have personal to-dos, we have business to-dos, we have ideas, content ideas, things to track. And when you're trying to remember this all in your mind, like no wonder you're overwhelmed. So, one of the greatest reliefs that you can have is by developing an external business mind or a project management system or a business management system. I call the business management system that I sell my sustainable success business dashboard. And it's a place to get everything out of your mind and into a system. So you don't have to worry about forgetting anything and that nothing has to live in just your mind. This system is critical not only for just giving you mental clarity, but being able to outsource, being able to delegate effectively, being able to take time away from your business and not have to worry about, is anything going to get missed or slipped or through the cracks. So building a habit of using this even before you begin to bring on a team is critical. And then when you start bringing on a team, I think you really start to see how valuable this system really is. So, Rachel, I set you up probably at the beginning of the year with you had been using Notion for a while and I kind of set you up with a new system. So, you want to share about using it and how you're using it now and like the evolution of that. Cause a lot of my clients, I'll set them up with it, but it'll take them a while to kind of start to integrate it into their business. But then once they do, they're like, oh my gosh, this is like the most organized I've ever been, or like,
Literally. Yeah.
you're in.
Jess is my entire savior in the sense of I was the epitome of everything living in my brain. And I had tried every single project management tool. And literally until Jess implemented her system into my business, I was like, oh, this is what it's like to not have stress dreams in the middle of the night about tasks that I previously had forgotten about, but lived documented in my brain someplace. And the SOP database that we have implemented has really been so impactful for me bringing someone on and getting them up to speed significantly faster than in my previous ways where I was like that typical excuse of like, it's just going to take so much more time to train this person because then I have to take like, it's just easier for me to do it. Like every single business owner has probably said that. Like, it's just easier for me to do it. And I can't even like explain the lack of mental overwhelm that I now have because of this new system. And I was never a systems girly, never. I mean, I am, but I'm not, right? Like, I'm not a routine person. ADHD is like my brain gets trapped in. But it really is such an impactful thing. And yeah, I could go on for an entire year about how amazing it's changed my business, which is wild.
I think you kind of just hit the nail on the head because a lot of my clients, when I'll first show them, they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be this organized. And I'm like, no, here's the thing. I am not organized. I have ADHD. This is like my safety net of having this system in place so that I do not forget. Or if something happens last week and I have to like forget everything that I'm supposed to do, I can come back to my desk on Monday and all the tasks that I had laid out, I can go through really quickly and like kind of reorganize them and replan and reset my week. Versus if I didn't have a system like this last week, I would have had all these to dos in my brain and nowhere to go with them and like just worried and probably not been able to actually relax, being able to like sign off, know they're all there. And then like, here's Monday. Let me check off everything that like got done by my team, move everything around this week on what needs to get done and like have everything just like there and waiting for me. The ability to just be able to brain dump it and like know that it's going to be there when I'm ready for it is like such a treat.
Yeah.
And it does take to get into the habit of signing on and like seeing that, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to do it every day. Like if you abandon, like I abandon my Notion systems every time I hit my ovulation my cycle because my ideas just start going crazy. But then the great thing is when I go back and need to reset, it's there waiting for me and like ready to get back into the process again.
Totally. Love that. Okay. So then next one, which is energetic burnout. This is something I'm sure everybody's kind of felt, whether it's in your personal life or your business life, where you're just kind of like stuck in reactive mode. Like your business is in fight or flight energy, which does not create any space to continuously be proactive. So, really shifting away from reacting and shifting into being proactive is the solution here. I have yet to nail this first one, but I know that it is such a powerful tool, which is that time tracking and knowing where your time is going. I am a victim of picking up my phone to do a task and I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And then my time tracking is like 1 hour later. And I'm like, oh, document that as wasted time kind of thing. But Jess has time tracking down to a freaking science. Pretty amazing. Everybody just hire Jess. Like, she's just amazing.
I mean, another one of those things where it's like progress, not perfection. And it's really the goal is to build awareness of how long things are taking you. One, that's going to give you a better, like when you need to outsource to make sure that you're charging the correct amount of money. There's a really easy tool called Metric that you can integrate with Notion that when you start a task, you can just start your timer. You got it. Sometimes you forget to turn off the timer, but at the end of the day, like I try to go back and reconcile my timesheet every day and really reflect and see how I've spent my time. And to be honest, I don't work more than like 25 hours a week in my business. And it's because I have a like keen eye on how I'm spending my time. And like when I start that timer, I seem to get more focused. So it really sounds like it's like a bad thing. Like I got away from corporate because I don't want to track my time. But like it really is helpful you in the long run because you build this awareness around your time. Another great tool that I harp on all the time to avoid energetic burnout is planning. And in Ayurveda, there's this like notion of like to be able to instill balance into your life or bring your like body back to balance, you apply the opposite. So if you're finding yourself headed towards burnout and you're stuck in this reactive action mode, to be able to bring yourself back in balance, you need to pause or you need to stop. And that's where this idea that I have of seasonal resets is what I call them, or quarterly planning, if you want to like speak corporate, come into play. It's this chance where you're going to purposely interrupt the cycle that you're in of action, take time to reflect and review every part of your business, to reprioritize and to develop an action plan for the next 90 days so that you can move forward with focus and intention. And this allows you truly to shift from that reactive state to that proactive state of operating in your business. And it's again a skill that you build. The more times you do it, the better that you get at it. But it's kind of the number one thing that I think helps me stay ahead of working too much or just finding myself overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think that is such an important habit as someone who can act as a CEO in their business because typically when you're teetering towards burnout, you've been acting too much like an employee and not enough as the CEO and kind of like doing the planning, setting up these systems and really ensuring that the company as a whole and whether it's just you, you're acting efficiently and really prioritizing growth and going towards like efficiencies and stuff. And so it is one of those things that like it is hard to start, but once you've nailed one quarterly plan, like the next one is just kind of review, adjust, and add. And then if you haven't done anything from your first quarterly plan, just update the dates and try again.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's perfectly I still do it myself. It's like you take on too much the first time you do it, and then you realize, okay, I can only do one project a quarter on top of client projects. So it just helps you build almost compassion towards yourself because you're giving yourself a realistic idea and just building awareness around what can really get accomplished in your business.
So, three burnout pillars are the financial worry, the mental overwhelm, and the energetic burnout. So, in that financial worry, the root cause of this financial worry is the inefficiencies in your marketing and sales system. So, fixing these and kind of going into observing and having visibility on what's actually converting, where your leads are coming from, and then establishing like good creation habits to keep you kind of involved into that where you're spending your time is more efficient. Time is your money kind of thing. The next one is mental overwhelm, where the root cause is just like you keeping everything in your brain, aka me. And so to cure this or get you closer towards avoiding mental overwhelm is really project management. Like it's so, so simple of just getting everything out of your brain dumping, and building the habit of utilizing that external system, that external brain of yours to start in getting visibility on these tasks, creating a better client experience, I think has been the biggest thing for me when I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting stupid tasks in the stupid project management system? And it's like a client experience has hundreds time improved because of this. Then that last one is just that energetic burnout where you are stuck in fight or flight and you really need to transition towards a more proactive approach to your business, which is getting awareness of where you're spending your time and then getting ahead with quarterly planning. So these are all really, really, I would say simple tasks, but they come with such overwhelm in themselves. So I would say start with kind of where you're at with which pillar you live the most in, and then start with the tasks that we've laid out there. If you want a little bit more of like a directional takeaway from this episode, is really understanding where you're most leaning toward, whether it's that financial, that energetic, or that just complete mental bogged down overwhelm and everything. So, yeah, anything else to add to that?
No, that's all I have for this episode because I am I'm struggling over here. You couldn't tell. I did want to add, if you are feeling the mental overwhelm, my sustainable success business dashboard is available for purchase. We'll link it in the notes, and it comes with two like training and customization sessions to so I can really teach you my system, because I'm sure you've maybe either tried other templates out there before and not been able to stick to them, similar to Rachel. I think the magic is like learning how to integrate these into your business and customize it to your specific business needs. So that's why I include those two sessions and don't just like hand you on a template and send you on your merry way. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend and make sure you leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure that you tune in for next week. We'll have another great episode. We're going to be covering our 5 favorite business tools. I bet you can guess what one of mine is. And until next week,
Were
we're rooting for you.
you?
We're rooting for you.
I thought we nailed it.